In this series, called 30-Minute Masterpieces, we explore artworks that can be completed within a 40-minute class period. Welcome to Painting with Janine Liza. Materials: black cardstock taped to a board, paper towel, variety of brushes, a large one and some small ones, possibly a palette, water, and for this painting, neon colored acrylic paints, plus some white paint. We'll also be using some masking tape. We'll be using the tape to create a triangle on the lower half of the paper. Starting at about the center point, we'll place the tape in a diagonal position, forming a triangle with the bottom of the paper. We'll have to sort of crimp the tape a little bit at the top so that it doesn't stick out if there's a little extra piece there. And then the other side. Once we've placed these two pieces on, we'll fill in the rest of the triangle with green tape. We want to make sure we have nice smooth edges. We're going to carefully pour the paint directly from the bottles, starting with the green. In kind of a zigzag motion, going along the diagonal line of the path, and in the front, we're going to put some of this green. Vertical zigzag kind of motion. Then we'll take some orange and squeeze some just above that green that we put there, and leaving a little bit of space at the top of the paper, so we will just fill in the areas above the grass but not right the way to the top. And with some pink, and then we'll get some yellow. Just squirt it on, dot dot dot. You don't even need to squeeze the bottle because the paint comes out quite easily if you just shake the bottle a little. Now for some blue and a little bit of white. This will go across the top, horizontally across the top. Just back and forth, and a little bit down towards the center of where the triangle is. Now some little bits of white, and we might add a little more blue and white later. There we go, just little patches of white. You might have noticed a little bit of a scene is starting to form. You'll see more once we do the next step. I'm going to get some paper towel and gently cover the painting. I'm going to place these down and leave them in position. Once they're placed down, I start smudging the paint underneath the paper towel, especially at the top. Just spreading the blue and white together as much as I can there, and then I'll start moving down to the other areas and gently pressing. Now I've smudged the paint, I want to have a piece of paper towel handy on the table because I'm going to lift this paper towel and it's going to be pretty mucky, so I'm going to want to put that on it. Wow, look at the colors. Look at the texture. That's beautiful. You might start to realize that this looks like a scene with grasses and trees and sky. I'd like to add a little more cloud to the sky area. So I'm going to add a bit more paint, use paper towel to lift and move that area around a little bit. Now that we have large areas of colour, let's add some finer details. I'm going to take the small brush with a bit of white paint and draw some grass strokes, paint some grass strokes in the front, larger strokes in the front, and then smaller ones going up the diagonal line of the triangle. And as I paint these lines in white, they'll pick up a little bit of the green paint and it'll be a nice texture and colour. Once the grasses are in place, I'm going to use a bit of white paint to create some tree trunks and branches in between the smudges of bright colours. Let's see if we can make them look like trees. I think I might just smudge some of the blue and white at the top just to fill in the patches that are up there a little bit. Just at the top along where the tape line is. Next part can wait until the painting's dry, but for the sake of the process here, I'm just going to remove the triangle to reveal the scene. And the tape comes off to reveal the road. Then we can put some dashes and dots down the center, small dashes vertically at the back, getting longer as they come forward to give the look of a beautiful road. Removing the tape while the painting is still a little bit wet is probably a good idea, because if you wait until it's really dry, if it is acrylic paint, it will stick to the tape on the edges and it could end up tearing your painting when you remove it. Just be very careful to maybe use some tissue to touch the edge of the paper when you're removing the tape so you don't spread paint into the border. If you choose to do this painting in tempera paint, all you need to do is add a tiny drop of white to each colour so that it's more opaque on the paper. And also you can leave the tape on until it's dry because it's less likely to dry solid like acrylic paint. I've really enjoyed creating this class and I look forward to making more. You'll find more art classes on Art with Janine Liza on YouTube.